Welcome to New Day Cleveland. I'm Christy Capel.
I'm David Moss, and we're here at University Circle on the campus of University Hospitals because of a very special opening here.
That's right. It's the new Seidman Cancer Center.
And what's really cool about this place, folks, is they've been working on it since 2005. It opened this summer, but this is a place where the patients had a lot to do with what goes on here and what goes on in the future.
Right, and I'm going to actually talk to a former cancer patient who was unfortunately diagnosed 2 times with cancer in his lifetime. And so he's been on the board trying to change the way basically they design this place. And each little area is designed for the family or even the patient. So it's really neat, and his story is unbelievable.
And we're going to deal with changing technologies. Things change all the time, so the technologies here are just rolling along like a locomotive to get better and faster. And of course, a big research area here at University Circle. So they try things here first, and they've had a lot of great success. So we're going to find out a little bit more about this.
Yes, we are. This place is huge, 375,000 square feet. So we have a lot to get to.
Let's see what they're working on now.
Walking around the Seidman Cancer Center, you see a lot, and the cool thing about this is it's been created by a lot of different people. I have Nate Mumford sitting here with me, who's actually been a former cancer patient yourself. Yes. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you got involved with creating some of the specifics that went into this cancer center. Okay. But I want to hear a little bit about your story. First of all, you have the Lance Armstrong band on your arm, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I was actually diagnosed with cancer twice.
Oh my gosh.
Once at when I was in 3rd grade, and then again at the age of 24. At the age of 24, I was actually here at the Ireland Cancer Center, formerly Ireland Cancer Center, now Seidman Cancer Center.
And then life goes on, you're healthy, high school goes on, perfectly healthy.
Yep, perfectly healthy, went away from college, enjoyed college. While I was in college, my mom was actually diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh my goodness.
So then, she went through that, and her breast cancer went into remission. Graduated from college, started working, and I came back home. And then in 2004, found out I was diagnosed with leukemia. That was August of 2004.
And this was the same time your mother was dealing with breast cancer.
Yeah, actually, when I was in the hospital, I was in the hospital for 6 months straight. When I was in that hospital, she actually her breast cancer had come back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take since the age of 24?
So I was in the hospital for 6 months. I had a trial treatment, which was umbilical cord transplant. And basically, they took that new blood and saved my life. And now I don't have any more cancer, so I've been cancer-free since 2006.
That's so awesome. Yes. But I want to talk a little bit about your mom, too, because there's a foundation in her name, right? Tell me about that.
So I started the Karen Mumford Cancer Foundation in 2007. Myself and a couple of my friends helped me to start it. I started the foundation just because I felt like I didn't go through those 2 cancers and see my mom go through a 3rd and pass away from her cancer to not do anything with cancer. So I actually started to help cancer patients out in certain situations, from financially, education-wise, different programs to help uplift their spirits and just kind of lower that stress level that I know cancer patients go through when they're going that grind of trying to beat that cancer.
Right, and if you are at the Seidman Cancer Center, you can find brochures from your mom's foundation as well.
Yes.
But I think the cool part is that with all this, you've actually kind of helped design some of what's here at Seidman, right?
Yeah, actually, my nurse, I call her my aunt, her name is Sally Enrich. She actually introduced me to the Patient and Family Council.
Okay.
And she wanted me to be a part of it. She thought I'd be a great asset to it. So I joined it on her behalf, and I just love it. It's it kind of models after myself and my family. We're a family type of family, and the council is a family-oriented type of council where we know each other, we email each other, we just have a good time, and we actually get a lot of information out and help out the cancer center.
Do you want to show me a couple things around?
Of course.
So this is the bone marrow transplant floor, right?
Yes.
This is the 3rd floor of the Seidman Cancer Center.
Yes, it is.
Now, I think more families probably tend to stay a little bit longer on this floor, right?
Exactly.
So what you guys have been a part of is coming up with different rooms. So tell me about this one first off.
So this is actually the exercise room. We came up with this just because when you're in the hospital for such a long time, you don't really get a lot of exercise.
Right.
So Our thing was we want to get some type of exercise and get the legs moving, and
Right.
so it won't get stiff.
And a little
plus-
putt, right?
Exactly. It's something enjoyable.
Yeah,
Something enjoyable.
absolutely.
Yes.
Now, I hear you've created a place for families, which I think
Yes.
is the most important part.
Exactly.
Is this it?
Yes, it
Here,
is.
take me through here.
Yeah, no problem.
How nice! What a great view too.
Oh, it's amazing.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Amazing.
So, what are all the accommodations in here?
So basically, this is kind of a relaxation room for the actual family members of the cancer patients.
Oh, okay.
They spend long hours here, so we want something comfortable for them with a great view, as you can see.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. So they spend so much time here. We want them to be relaxing and just really kind of take a load off, because they exude so much energy
Right.
into their family member in the room and trying
Yeah.
to figure out what's going on and stressing.
So you got a kitchen?
Yes.
Wow! I mean, you guys have everything in here.
It's amazing.
Family laundry.
Yes, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's like their own little home
It
away from home.
is. And this room tends to. I mean, does it get real busy?
It does, but not
Okay.
as busy as you would think.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually
One
relaxing.
washer, one dryer.
Yeah.
And then you can make coffee and basically
Exactly.
do
You
whatever you
have
need
food
to do.
there. You can put your
That's
name on the food and
great.
have food stored there. So
This has been amazing. Now, with this foundation, I know you volunteer a lot. Is that something
Yeah.
personal you do, or something with the foundation?
yeah, actually, I do it with both. Really, the foundation, we started the Kearney Mumford Cancer Foundation. We started a volunteer program where we go in to the cancer patients' rooms
Yeah.
and we just hang out with them, talk with them, play games, just have a good time.
That's
The reason
great.
I started that, when I was in the hospital, I was blessed enough to have people visit me every day for 6 months.
Right.
And I saw that there were a lot of patients that didn't have that opportunity. And I can only imagine how hard it is to just be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with nobody visiting.
Gosh.
So we want to try to bring some type of joy, smiles to the cancer patients.
Well, this has been great. And what a story, Nate. It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
Honestly, what a touching story.
I had the opportunity to sit down with the president of the Seidman Cancer Center, Dr. Nathan Levitin. So how is the facility designed to help a cancer patient when they're first diagnosed and they're worried?
You know, when a patient is diagnosed with cancer, obviously it's a very frightening experience. And we think that there are three very important elements that anybody with cancer would think about in choosing a place to receive their care. One is, are there doctors and nurses with the appropriate level of expertise? The second is, are there the tools and facilities necessary to give that person the best care? And the third is it a facility with an environment of care where the patient will feel comfortable and cared for? And here at the Seidman Cancer Center, we really have thought very carefully about all three of those elements.
I think one of the really sort of interesting parts of this whole thing is how the environment is part of the healing process.
It's very important, in addition to the expertise and the innovative technology, to be in a facility where your anxiety can be addressed, where any symptoms related to your cancer can be addressed, where your family can be with you in an environment that welcomes them, where there is space for them, and all of these are very carefully addressed in this building. Well, this building was really designed by architects, but it was also designed by patients. So once the initial drawings were completed, we brought in members of our patient and family council to look at the facility and make sure that it would be a place where their particular needs were met. And in addition, we of course involved our staff with great expertise in each type of cancer, and we made sure that the building would accommodate the very latest in technology and the latest in clinical trials. Because of the complexity of cancer, we actually have our physicians specialize in only one or two types of cancer. So therefore, all of our doctors are divided such that we have 10 different teams of experts. And those physicians, because they focus in a particular type of cancer, can truly be up to date on the latest developments. And when a patient is diagnosed here, he or she would be seen by that team of physicians. Their case would be discussed by that team to make sure that the very best and most up-to-date care is recommended to them.
Tell me what's special about the technology here, what sets the Seidman Cancer Center apart from, well, other facilities around the country.
In terms of the tools of the trade, here in the Seidman Cancer Center we have the latest in both the diagnostic and the necessary therapeutic technology. looking at diagnostic technology, that is the equipment necessary to find the cancer and determine whether it has spread. We have the latest in CAT scans, in PET scans, in MRIs, and we have a new technology called PET MRI. We're actually the only cancer hospital in the world with a PET MRI scanner. Patients also receive radiation therapy and surgery here, of course, and we have the latest in radiation technology that gives actually a surgical approach to radiation, a highly refined, computer-driven approach to radiation that minimizes side effects to healthy tissue. We have a very large clinical trials program. And unfortunately, some patients cannot be adequately treated for their cancer with conventional technology. And therefore, we have a very large program that actually develops new drugs that may not be available anywhere else in the country or even in the world. Patients can participate, if they so choose, in clinical trials and gain access to these very innovative technologies.
Why is that? Why is that possible here and not other places?
The Seidman Cancer Center has invested in the physicians, in the infrastructure, and in all of the necessary equipment necessary to develop these drugs, develop the clinical trials, and make it possible for patients to receive them. Then there's the question of how can the patient feel comfortable in the course of their care. So all of our staff are really educated before they even set foot here on their first day of work to try to put themselves in the shoes of the cancer patient, to try to be empathic and understand what the patient is experiencing. We've created an environment that's light and open, as cheerful as possible.
Welcome back to our special edition of New Day Cleveland. We're at the Seidman Cancer Center, and I am with the director, Dr. Gerson, and we are walking into the lab here, and you know, I remember the catchphrase of this place, curing cancer every day.
One of my favorite expressions, because we are trying to do that. And this space here is where we in fact do cure cancer, because this is the storage space for all the cells that we use for our bone marrow transplant and stem cell transplant program. And patients with severe diseases, leukemias, lymphomas, myelomas, come here to get cured for those diseases. They usually have intense treatment. Then they receive the cells that have been frozen here, perhaps processed in our clean room you can see in the back.
Wow.
And they get their cell infusion. We have a specialized stem cell transplant floor. People may be in that hospital for a month on that floor while they're getting their blood cells back. We do all sorts of different types of treatment here. Routine stem cell transplantation. We grow cells in laboratories like this one right here.
So it's cold in these tanks.
It's
I see you got
liquid
special
nitrogen.
gloves here, huh?
Liquid nitrogen, incredibly cold. And we can store cells here for 5 or 10 years.
I heard at the Seidman Cancer Center here that you have treatments here that aren't available in other places. Is that because of this room and what you do in here?
In large part, that's the case. We have a large early phase clinical program for novel therapeutics. Some of those are cell therapeutics, like you see here. Some of them are small drugs that we've developed right in the laboratories at Case Western and then bring to our patients here. We really pride ourselves in providing the newest treatments that are possible. Some of those newest treatments involve surgical techniques, minimally invasive surgery, video-assisted surgery, so patients can come in, go home the same day after a major resection of their colon or their lung for a different type of tumor. And we have an intraoperative MR, which means that the neurosurgeon can look at to see what they've been resecting in the brain right in the middle of the operation with an MR exam and come back and remove what they need to. So they tend to only do the surgery that's absolutely required, and they're much more accurate with it.
So we're getting really specialized now. It's not big invasive kind of thing.
Well, the most important thing to remember is that every cancer patient is unique, their cancer is unique, their clinical needs are unique, and you've got to come to a major comprehensive cancer center where the most complex therapies can be delivered, whether it be cell therapy, a minimally invasive surgical therapy, or a small drug that you haven't ever heard of before.
Since I've been here, I've learned to understand that two people could have what they call the same cancer, but because of genetics, totally different treatments.
So we are developing what is generically called personalized medicine. And what that is a method in which we can fingerprint the specific tumor and come up with treatments which are designed for that tumor and nobody else's.
Wow.
We have a whole potpourri of treatments that are available to us. All too often, we don't know which one needs which treatment. So these newer methodologies, we call it molecularly designed clinical trials and clinical treatments, are specific to the patient's own tumor.
It's great to go inside this beautiful building and see these labs. Is there another lab to see?
Well, we could move on to another laboratory. I'd be delighted to show you.
Great. Well, this is remarkable. So this is where the science meets the technology then.
Absolutely, and this is the highest quality of science and amazing technology. So what we have here is a modern operating room, but this one is especially equipped so that all of the equipment and all the tools, all the surgical items are titanium so that they're not magnetic. So we do our brain tumor surgery here, as well as pancreatic and even some lung cancer surgery here. And the point here is that the surgeon in the middle of the operation can answer the question of did they get it all? Because they can roll the patient on their operating room bed, fully asleep and under anesthesia, over here, and the bed is then picked up onto this magnetic resonance
that is
machine.
something.
And they can have a magnetic resonance while they're under anesthesia under sterile conditions. So the surgeon can figure out what exactly happened to the tumor that they were trying to resect, bring the patient back into the operating room and complete the procedure, and they can do it with precision that we've just never had before. So it's really remarkable.
It's like having an MRI in the room in the surgical suite.
Absolutely. This is a surgical MRI designed specifically for a patient that needs it during their operation.
So what do we say when I met you? Curing cancer every day?
That's the try, and that's what we do as best we can.
And this is how you do it.
It is amazing. This is the newest technology, and don't worry, this will be obsolete in a few years, and we'll come up with something else that's even more advanced.
Keep it going.
And the great news is that our surgeons here, our medical oncologists here, are right at the cutting edge. Our teams are the people who develop this amazing technology.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. We're now on the 6th floor of the Seidman Cancer Center. Wendy is the Chief Nursing Officer. And Wendy, I think the first thing I noticed is it's so quiet in here.
That's true for all of these inpatient divisions. This is the Women's Oncology Division. This is one of a kind in terms of having all women with cancer being treated on the 6th floor.
And you said you have probably like 20 patients on this floor right now.
We have 20 patients now, but
So
in
quiet.
terms of the environment,
Yeah.
the quiet lends to healing and peacefulness so that people can rest after surgery, and that's what we're aiming to achieve.
And this is one of the places. So tell me about the patient room.
As we